Hey, what is going on, everyone? I am back from the dead. uh, I've been kind of lost in the sauce, so today they released a new deck called the Fiendsmiths or the Demon Smiths. It's a new engine kind of archetype. You'll see in the OCG cards essentially is the ones they added today, like just today. And so I am I've been in the lab with them literally all day. So I've been cooking. I've been cooking a Fabled Fiendsmith deck. Now, I'm going to go over the deck list and then I'm going to go over a couple of combos I found um particularly. So let's get right into this. So first up, we've got three of the Fiendsmith. This guy is basically really good. So his whole deal is that we search a Fiendsmith Fiendsmith spell or trap from the deck, and he goes to the graveyard, and essentially through our plays we're able to recur him and get him cycling. If he's in our grave, we get to shuffle a light fiend monster from our grave to our deck, and we get to special summon him back to the field. So that's just a sweet little recursion he gets, and he'll get that quite a bit with our engine. Next up is two copies of Grimro. You can run three. Right now I'm trying Upstart, so I'm running the two Upstart because I tend to have a little bit of a bricking issue. But if you're a little more confident in your draws, you can run three of the Lurie, three of the Grimo. But so Grimro, I'm running at two, because mainly she is searchable, and so is Lurie. So we're running two because it's searchable, and sometimes Grimro can just brick the hand. It is worth mentioning. Pretty much none of our effects are once per turn. You'll notice not one of them say once per turn, except like this guy, the modern guy. Anyway, next up is 3 Rescue Cat. So we're playing 3 Rescue Cat because the goal is to normal summon our Rescue Cat. Literally, none of our engine, none of our deck requires a normal summon. So our goal is to normal summon Rescue Cat to get out the Ganashia and the Abank, I guess is what you call that. The beaver and the elephant. We get these two out, we synchro, we have a good time. Anyway, Rescue Cat 3, we draw this, we're having a good time. 2 Ganesha. So why 2? Ideally you'd want 1 and you just never draw it because Rescue Cat summons from deck, but of course you can draw it. So this is just in case you draw it. You have 1 in the deck still. Pretty easy to understand. Next, 1 copy of Kushano. This thing is pretty searchable. Pretty much everything in our deck is searchable at some point in time. So we really, excuse me, we really can run him, and he's really good. He's really good for our discard effects. So if we just ditch him to the graveyard at some point, like link him off or fuse him or something, and he's in the grave, he's just, our discard effects are online, he's back in the hand, we can fuse him off again from the hand, yada yada yada, whatever. All right, next up, 3 copies of Ash. Moving on, 1 copy of Fabled Cruce. Ideally you would want, like, I don't know, sometimes some people run 2, some people run 3. I like to run just 1 because it's pretty recurable. You just put that right back in the deck if you need it, and honestly you never really need more than 1, and it tends to just break your hand with Rescue Cat a lot. So if you're running the Rescue Cat, I would recommend you running 1 copy of Cruce. Next is 2 copies of the Beavers for the same reasons as the Elephant, because also this little goober, he banishes himself, and he's a tuner, and we really care about that. So we want 2 copies, because even if he's in our hand, he's very valuable discard fodder because he puts our discard effects online. So you can even run 3 copies of this guy if you really want. But I say 2 is good. Next up, Uh, Cerberus, 3 copies. This is a not once per turn discard effect to special summon. Nothing else needs to be said. It is a tuner. We are going to be doing quite a bit of synchroing. Ideally, we would like to, right? Next up, 2 copies of Lurie. You can do 3, as I've stated before. As a matter of fact, you probably should do 3. This is very much not once per turn. You can just keep discarding 3 Luries, and you'll get 3 Luries on the field. Very, very easy. But I'm running 2. It is searchable, yada, yada, yada. Ideally, we won't need it, right? Well, we won't need 3. Next, we're going to do 1 copy of the Fabled Chawa. Now, we're doing 1 copy of this. You can do 2. It tends to break your hand, though. So, sometimes it's not nice to see, but if you're drawing cards throughout your plays, it's pretty nice to just draw into and go like, oh my god, wow, that's a good draw, you know? 3 copies of Effect Veiler, pretty self-explanatory why I'm running that. 1 copy of Triple Tactics Talent, because people like to do monster effects, and those stop our fun. Next up, 2 copies of Upstart. I run 2 copies of this because it's like, it's kind of like a filler, I guess, for a shitty draw. You can definitely, like I said, run 3 Grimro, 3 Lurie, or you can run 3 Lurie, 2 Chawa, but again, I'm running the 2 Upstart because I have 0 confidence in my hand. Actually, you know what I will do though? I'll do 1 Upstart, and then we'll do 3 Lurie, and we'll see how that does. Anyway, yeah, we'll just do 1 Upstart. And then we'll do 3 of the Fiendsmith Tractus. This right here is a very powerful engine card for our little Fabled guys. So this discards a monster from our hand, and you can search, add 1 light fiend monster from your deck to your hand, then discard 1 card. Yeah, essentially, you search and then you discard like either Lurie or Cerberus or literally any of our Fabled guys. They all like being discarded. This guy likes being discarded for different reasons, so really only discard this if you already have something in the grave to bring back. This one likes being discarded if you already have something in the hand. This one loves being discarded anytime, any place. This one loves being discarded. This one is the only one that doesn't like being discarded, which is why we're running 1, because, like I said, it can sometimes break your hand. It doesn't like being discarded. It doesn't even have a discard effect. It just has an effect to discard, so that's why we're only running 1. So yeah, 3 Tractus puts our engine completely online. This is the thing that makes the deck go, and this is why we're running 3 Fiendsmith, because he searches Tractus, and he can also search Sanctus to get a token, so we can keep our links online. We got 1 Called By, very self-explanatory. 2 Cross Out, very self-explanatory. You can run 3. Go for it. Then we got 1 Sanctus. It's pretty searchable, and if you get Tractus in your hand, you get Sanctus, and you get Sanctus off the Fiendsmith search, and you're Gucci. 3 Imperm, pretty self-explanatory why. And then 1 Paradisum. Of course, you can boot this out of the deck. This is the 1 card I have that I've just never fucking used. This is the one card I have that's just, you're never gonna see it, because in what universe, right? Are you searching that often? But I don't know. It can be kind of a neat little tech option, I guess, if you're feeling swifty enough. Okay, next up, extra deck. 1 Fiendsmith Disarray. Yeah, that's his name, Disarray. He is a negate. We're going to equip one of our links to him after we fuse, and he's going to have basically 2 imperms, so he can imperm 2 monsters on the field. Then we have Lacrimosa, we can do 2, but I just run 1. But again, you can do 2. Probably should as well if you're doing the rank 6 strat that I'm doing. But of course, mm, yeah, we'll put this guy on our side deck, and then we'll put another one of this guy. That's what we'll do. So yeah, put this guy at 2. I made that decision on the fly. Next up, we're gonna get Dissipator. This is not a super important card, but it can come up every now and again. I've definitely had games where the only combo extension forward would have been Dissipator, but I just didn't get it. I just didn't have it. So we're one Dissipator in the deck. We can get it naturally anyways. We don't even need Crimson. We don't need Crimson to scan our Barone, so we're good. We're all light monsters too, so that really bridges into our next Chaos Angel. This is a very powerful card in the deck because we're going to be synchroing a couple of times. We're going to be getting our Barone out at the very least, so if we are able to get Chaos Angel out as well, that Barone will be immune to card effects. Very nice. We got the one Barone. We got the Fabled Valkyrus. This is a very niche kind of combo extender. You can absolutely just tech this into the side deck. But for the most part, I really think you should keep it because, again, it sometimes comes up in your combos, and it's really good when it comes up because it can go right into Baron. You can use it, discard Cerberus. It's right there, right? Anyway, next up is Stardust. Honestly, this is the one card that I'm like, maybe I don't need it because Fabled Valkyrus does the same thing. But then I realized not really, because this is for in the hand, this is for on the field. So it's different contexts entirely. Both of them are for comboing into Barone, essentially. Or Chaos Angel, whichever one you want. Next up, we have the Fabled Wraith, sorry. This guy is essentially going to be either our opponent discards 1 or we draw 2. Ideally, we draw 2 and then we get to discard. But since our opponent knows how powerful that is for us, they might just decide to discard a good card. So it's pretty worth it if you have the extra materials lying around and you're able to bridge this into Valkyrus. Or usually I use this, then bridge it into Excel Stardust, then into Barone, and that's my combo. And then we have the Fabled Ragin. So this is basically, yeah, we're going to draw until we have 2. This is if your hand is empty and you have this available, might as well, right? Next up we have our rank 6 DDD Wave High King Caesar. Originally, I had Dawn Racemaster or whatever the fuck in here, but it was pretty inconsistent, and I saw other people running this, and I noticed it was a spell negate. It's the same thing. Dawn Trackmaster, yeah. So, essentially, this is the same thing, but it's easier to get into, because you're going to be getting out one of these guys, and then you're going to be exceeding into him, and then you're going to be detaching him to deal 1200. And next up is that's it for them. Next up is SP Little Knight. Pretty self-explanatory. We're going to be using IP to go into SP. Pretty easy to understand. And then we have our Fiendsmith Requiem. I'm going to go over this one first because it's the one that comes up in the combo first. So Requiem is the one we're going to go and do first. We're typically going to be using its effect to tribute into another Fiendsmith, so we can go into our Exceed plays as well as other Link plays if we have other shit on the field. Kind of a cool little thing we can do. And then we have our Sequentia, which is going to be our fusion card. This is going to help us fuse, essentially. So we're going to be using this to fuse out of the graveyard, and then we're going to be banishing this to fuse off the field. So that's kind of the overview. I'm not going to explain the side deck. Let's get into the fucking let's without further ado, let's get into the fucking combos. All right, we're here in the combos. I have taken the liberty of recording these for you guys. So this is our 1-card combo. Yes, we have a 1-card combo with the Fiendsmith. That's why he's a 3 of. So we're going to go ahead and play this demo, and we're just going to go ahead and explain it. So we're discarding the Fiendsmith to search Tractus, using Tractus to get Lurie. I keep forgetting his fucking name. We're calling you Motherfucker from now on. His name is Motherfucker. So we're going to get... Actually, no, your name is Goober. We're going to get Goober. Goober is going to be on our field, and we're going to use him to link into Requiem. And then we're going to use Requiem's effect, tribute into our Fiendsmith, right? Following along so far. Fiendsmith in the grave activates to send Lurie back to the deck. We have 2 Fiendsmiths. You can either go into a rank 6 here, or you can link 2, fuse into Lacrimosa with the link 2's effect. Lacrimosa's effect will activate to bring back our Fiendsmith. You can banish the spell, send all those guys to the grave to bring in Disarray, and equip the link 2 from the grave to Disarray. And that is your combo. Very simple combo. What does this get you? This gets you 1 negate. Well, technically 2 negates, but it's 1 use. So you got to use the negates while it's a 1. Yeah, it's once per turn, but you can negate as many cards as the link markers, essentially. So this is a link 2 markers. You can negate 2 cards on the field once per turn, essentially. Right. The negate is once per turn, but it is up to 2. So that is our first combo, the 1-card combo. Next, I'm going to get into our little more complicated combo. This is if you have Rescue Cat in the hand and a little extra. So I'm going to be getting into that now. Okay. So this one is from a previous version of the deck where I was using the fucking Dawn Trackstar or whatever. So yeah, it's Dawn Trackstar. So if you want to use Dawn Trackstar instead, this is how you can use it, and this is how I was using it. So this is still full combo anyways. It's just going to go a little differently if you're using the DDD. Which I will show off probably in the future. This is just for the current, you know, kind of climate. This is day 0, man. Come on, the cards aren't even out yet. Anyway, these are the 3 cards. We don't even need these 3 in our hand. But honestly, all we need is Rescue Cat and Fiendsmith. And honestly, we can get a Lurie in our hand. And if we have those 3, we're just being cheating. So I'm gonna show you how we're going to play this one out. So essentially, things are going to go mostly the same. Tractus, Lurie comes out. Then we're activating Grimro to search Cerberus. Alright. Now we're going to get our Link 1, get out our Fiendsmith, recur, get our Sequentia out. Then we're going to Rescue Cat, get our guys out, link into Fabled Ragin, get our Fabled Lurie, play. So we used our Beaver to discard Cerberus, all that. Used this guy to get out this guy, so we're going to use this guy to get out our other Fiendsmith. Synchro into the Dawn Dragstar. Then we're going to fuse into this guy with the banishing of the spell. Synchro into Stardust Dragon. Activate Stardust Dragon. Equip the Link 2, go into Barone, end board. This gets you 1 Omni Negate, 1 Spell Trap Negate, and 2 use Imperm on a boss monster. That is a good board, if I do say so myself. Let me know what you guys think down below, of course. And I'll try to get this out in a timely manner, and I'll also try to do more with this deck. I see more on the horizon. I'm gonna try and cook more, cook further. I can go even further beyond, trust me. So Yeah, I look forward to that. See you when I do, I guess. Bye.